Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be redrawing this picture I once drew of a mermaid. Okay, so before I start talking about the picture, I first want to talk about why I decided to draw this. So as you may or may not know, it is the month of May. And I don't know about you, but I once heard that May was like the month that you're supposed to draw mermaids in. They called it Mermaid. I don't know if it's something that people still do, or if it was even something that people ever did, or if it's just like a fever dream I once had and thought it was real. But either way, I decided to take this opportunity to draw some mermaids because I don't know about you, but I like mermaids. So when I was a kid, I used to draw the way kids normally draw, and usually it was things like little stick figures and that sort of thing. But one day, I just decided to start following along to a how to draw book that we had. It was about animals, and I did draw some of those. But in that same sketchbook, I drew this mermaid, and it was one of the first drawings that was in the sketchbook, and the first human drawing. I know technically she's not a human, but kind of. I think it still counts as like a first human drawing. And so that was kind of like my start to liking drawing. And if you want to see more of that sketchbook, I'm wanting to do a sketchbook tour of all of my old sketchbooks so that you guys can kind of see where I started and stuff. I think that would be a really good subscriber special. So if you want to see that, feel free to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. But if you don't, that's okay too. I hope you still enjoy the video. One thing I knew I wanted to change was her pose. In the original, she's just kind of there, so I wanted to make it more interesting. And sometimes I just am sitting doing whatever, and I randomly get pose ideas for drawings, and then I just sketch them down real quick. And so this pose was one that I kind of just sketched down, and for some reason, when I imagined the pose, I pictured it being a mermaid. I think because of the fact that it would have the swish motion of also having the tail in the background. I don't know, but when I was thinking of redrawing this picture, I was like, that pose would be perfect for this. Obviously, the pose isn't perfect. I'm sure it has a lot of flaws and stuff, because perspective is hard and I'm certainly not a professional, but I think it turned out okay. I'm pretty happy with it, all things considered, so I hope you agree that it at least looks pretty good, and that the perspective isn't too weird or off-looking. So one of the things that I decided to change about this picture between the original and the new version that I'm drawing was the clothes and color scheme. The original design of her was very much so The Little Mermaid inspired. You can clearly tell she has the purple seashells and the green tail. So I wanted to change that to make her look more interesting and unique. But I wasn't really sure what colors to change them to. And I realized that the three colors that were the main colors of the picture, the blue, purple, and green, actually went really well together. So I kind of didn't want to change them. So then I was just thinking okay, what would her top be? And then I thought, well, seaweed is green. What if she had a green top and it was made of seaweed and then her tail was purple? So I liked that idea and decided to keep it. When drawing this picture, I decided to try shading a little bit differently. For the most part, I added shadows normally and then I just kind of blurred them out instead of using the airbrush like I normally would. I do like this method, but I do go back near the end of the video and airbrush a few spots that I felt needed a more soft shadow rather than it being a little bit harder, because even though the blur softens the shadow or softens the edge, it doesn't completely kind of soften it out. So I like that method, but I probably won't use it in place of airbrushing. When drawing mermaids nowadays, I usually like to give them gills because I think that it just makes sense. Like how else would they be breathing underwater? But when I tried to add them on her, it didn't really look good. I don't know, there was just something weird about it. It looked more like she just had stripes, and for some reason I was like, I don't really feel like making this look good. So I ended up just not adding them, which I think is okay because of the fact that in the original picture she didn't have them, and even though I'm not like following it strictly, I kind of like that a few things are still the same between the two pictures. So before I had started recording, when I was just filling in the base colors, I had kind of played around with her hair, because in the original picture, her hair just kind of like ends. That doesn't really end the way I normally draw hair ending, and that was just because I didn't really know how, but I kind of liked the way it looked because it looked like water. And even though like that's kind of weird, like how would somebody's hair actually be water, especially when they're underwater, I didn't really want to go too much into that, but I was kind of playing around to see like what it might look like if I made her hair look a little bit more like water or kind of like faded out the ends, and I ended up kind of liking it. So at the end I decided to keep that, so you didn't really see me draw that part, I'm sorry. And yeah, here is the finished drawing. I hope you enjoyed. Here is a comparison of the old and new picture. If you have any ideas for other drawings you'd like to see me draw, feel free to leave a comment, and stay tuned for more mermaid drawings because I have plans. But anyways, thanks for watching. So this mermaid was just kind of a drawing that I decided to do. There's nothing really more to her than that. Like, she's not a character or anything, but if you do have any ideas for a name for her, let me know. I'd love to hear your suggestions.